Welcome into the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington football team game preview from a Vegas perspective, joined by Mid-Major Matt at Mid-Major Matt on Twitter, sportsmemo.com, and Don Buster at Don_Buster on Twitter. Guys, we got a good matchup here. Philadelphia Eagles -5.5 or 6, depending where you're shopping, 42.5 being the total. Don, what are you thinking in this NFC East matchup?
Thanks for having me here, Drew. I appreciate it. I'm going to have a small play on Washington here. And what I want to talk a little bit about first, though, is I haven't heard too much talking about this whole COVID problem that we got going here. And I know that we're all hoping that everything goes well with the NFL and we have no problems like we have saw in baseball and that. But you have to remember, all these guys are getting tested every day. So up until I think they don't test on game days, but they're getting tested. So you have to, account for that in any kind of your bets, right? So like myself, I've been doing this a few years now, let's just say, and when I see a line, I'll sometimes jump on it earlier in the week. But I won't be doing that in this situation and probably for a good time, because you don't know what's going to come down the road on a Friday and Saturday. And I think you're going to see a lot of these lines being a little bit more volatile than normal. That's just my opinion on this. Talking about Philadelphia, they end up getting Darius Slay from Detroit for their defense. On the offense, they added Goodman from San Francisco. But to me, a big piece of their puzzle was when they lost Malcolm Jenkins. I know there was some contract disputes or what have you, but he was the quarterback of that D, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a problem going early, especially with not having all the practices and everything like that. A few other reasons why I'm against Philly here. Well, I said before is that the divisional dog. I can't lay points, especially week one, divisional game, 5.5, 6, I think the line is right now. I might even go up higher. I really like having the divisional dog myself. Also, Philadelphia has a lot of injuries. Brooks is out. Sanders, the running back, he's questionable, but I'm sure he'll play, but is he 100%? And they have a long list of injuries as well. Pedersen, he ended up firing his OC in the offseason. So the offense, but again, without practicing a lot, could be a few problems there. Last time we saw Carson Wentz, well, he was getting beat up in Seattle and being injured. So, and again, he had a good year last year. I wouldn't say great, but a pretty good year. But he fumbled 17 times. And the Redskins got, the Washington Football Club. I'm sorry. Every once in a while you might have that slip. It's been a lot of years. The Washington Football Club. They have a lot of good, young guys on defense, and they got to the quarterback last year. So with Wentz having 17 fumbles last year, he might put the ball on the ground a couple times this week. So you never know. As far as Washington, gotta love Riverboat Ron getting the coaching job there. He's also got DC Jack Del Rio there, which, I kind of like that for them. One thing I kind of sometimes like playing little different angles as well. And Rivera's has some health issues. So he's been a little sick. And he missed the first part of the week, first part of the practices this week. So now he's back. And I like a team. They're at home and away isn't going to matter this year. But want to win that first one for their first the new head coach, want to win that first game, getting 5.5 or 6 points. It might even be 6.5 by the weekend, and it's a divisional game. I'm on Washington or nothing here, guys.
All right, Don. Liking the dog barking in this one. Mid-Major Matt, anything different with the Eagles and the Washington Football Club, or is it the football team? Not really sure, man.
It's the Washington Football Team. It's WFT, which is really close to WTF, which we won't talk about what that is. By the way, you'll notice as we do the video here, there is a Lincoln Financial thing, and then there's another Eagles thing over there. But that's not going to affect how I look at this game. And actually,
sorry, Matt. Sorry.
No. I actually agree with a lot of what you said, Don. To me, I haven't decided yet At least I know I'm going to play something because this is a very intriguing game on so many different levels. To me, it's Redskins for the side, and it's the under here because, the WFT for the side. And, I just don't know how the Redskins are going to score. I just don't know. I'm going to keep saying it. We're going to barrel through it, and people are going to know who. Yeah, exactly. They're going to know who I'm talking about. Dwayne Haskins showed some stuff at the end of the year last year, and he's going to be in a better offense this year. I think Scott Turner's going to mold what he knows that Haskins' stuff, what his strengths are. So I think you're going to see a better offense, but who's getting the ball in the backfield? They let go of Adrian Peterson, so it's Antonio Gibson, it's J.D. McKissick, it's Peyton Barber, it's a whole host of guys that we don't know. And then they've got one number one wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, who's going to get, probably locked up with Darius Slay all game. So who's going to be the number two? When you look at if they lost the NC State wide receiver before the season began to an injury. Dontrell Inman is the veteran, quote unquote. Their tight end is Logan Thomas, who is a quarterback, and their offensive line is pretty poor. So the question is, how is Washington going to score? On the Eagles side, you mentioned, look, Miles Sanders is banged up. They're going to monitor his carries. Carson Wentz in the pocket's a bit sketchy because he does have the fumbling issue, and you know how good that front seven is for Washington. The Eagles' offensive line is going to have to do some shuffling. We don't know if Lane Johnson's going to play. We don't know if he's 100%. And there was a piece that just came out today about how the Eagles' structure with Doug Peterson is in questions and all sorts of stuff. So to me, I can't play the Eagles, that's for sure. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to play WFT yet. I will. If it goes down from 6, probably not. But the under also comes into play here. If you think the defenses are going to be ahead of the offenses in this game, then this is the perfect situation. You've got two offenses that are going to be trying to find themselves and who may have to actually matriculate the ball down the field instead of finding the deep ball.
Yeah, I agree with you on that under. We're seeing 42 to anywhere between 42 and 43 right now. So, hey, for Don Buster, Mid-Major Matt, I'm Drew Martin. Check him out, sportsmemo.com, at Don_Buster on Twitter, and at Mid-Major Matt. And also remember, guys, we got $2 Tuesday at sportsmemo.com and WagerTalk.com. And actually, Mid-Major Matt was the $2 handicapper at sportsmemo.com. So you actually might be able to take advantage there. You can double dip at both sites on Tuesdays, $2 Tuesday, SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com. Welcome into the Seattle Seahawks Atlanta Falcons game preview. We got the Seattle Seahawks minus 2-point road favorites here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Mid-Major Matt, starting off with you first. We got 49 the total in the ATL. What are you thinking with the Seahawks and Falcons?
Well, the funny thing for the Falcons here is there's no fans in the stands, but they already know how to pump in the crowd noise because they've already been in trouble doing that before. So it won't feel that much different for Atlanta. When you look at last year's matchup between these two teams, Seattle won 27-20 in Atlanta. You think, okay, well, it was a close game. It was 24-0 Seattle at halftime. And by the way, the quarterback was Matt Schaub for Atlanta, who threw it 52 times for 443 yards in the loss. So we know Matt Schaub's not going to be involved here. The Falcons, when it comes to the Falcons, look, I feel like every couple of years there's a resurrection that comes with them. They figure things out. Last year Dan Quinn was on the hot seat, and then they started playing better, and everybody rallied around Dan Quinn and everything. And so I wonder how much that's going to carry over to this year. The usual suspects: Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. I do really like the addition of Hayden Hurst at tight end. I think he's going to get really involved and replace Austin Hooper very well. So I think the offense is going to be really smooth for Atlanta. The question is going up against that Seattle defense, who just got Jamal Adams. And we've seen in the past that the Legion of Boom defenses that Seattle have had is based off of really good safety play. Cam Chancellor fit everything so well. So we'll see how quickly Jamal Adams can pick things up, considering he hasn't been there that long. Seattle is 10-4-3 against the spread on the road. And of course, the biggest question with Seattle always is, when are they going to let Russell Wilson just be Russell Wilson? They usually don't do it until the fourth quarter, and you see how well their fourth quarter stats are because they're playing from behind or they're trying to, back and forth. So to me, if Pete Carroll ever decides to let loose with Russell Wilson and let him play the fourth quarter way the whole game, Russell Wilson could win an MVP. It could even be this year. Who knows? Until then, it's hard to trust Seattle in a game like this on the road. I don't necessarily have a side play. I may look at the total here, but we'll see which direction it moves.
Okay, good stuff from Mid-Major Matt on Twitter at MidMajorMatt, SportsMemo.com. We also got Don Buster, SportsMemo.com, on Twitter at Don_Buster. Don, what are you thinking here with the Seahawks and Falcons Sunday?
Yeah, I understand what Matt's saying is. I just have a small lean on Seattle. Problem with that is that 74% of the money's on Seattle. So doing this long enough to know that when that's happening, you kind of put the red flag up. Although, again, I really like what Seattle's going to look like. Matt mentioned about Jamal Adams. You know, that's going to be a very big part of that defense this year. And again, I want to go back just for people that are so happy that the NFL is here. Just be very careful. Put like your toe in the pool kind of thing, because with the COVID and the testing all the time, you don't know what's going to happen with these injuries and with any kind of problems that you can get with these guys might be out on a Saturday. So again, I've said this many a times. I'll say it again. The lines will be volatile all the way through the weekend. And that, as Matt was saying, Seattle won there 27-20. And it wasn't really all that close. I know Matt Schwab was quarterbacking, but again, you have Russell Wilson, 31 TDs, 5 interceptions last year, and he could have been way better. Like actually, as Matt was saying, he could have been way better. Does Pete Carroll decide to let him go this year? We'll see. I really like Seattle as one of my teams that could be making it to at least the conference finals. And I think he's going to eat up this Atlanta D. An Atlanta D who was 24th against the pass last year, 15th against the run, and now doesn't have that Desmond Trufant with him anymore. And I'm not too sure what they can do to stop him. As far as their offense, well, yes, Atlanta's offense is great, Matty Ice. But again, those guys probably were the best team from between the 20s last year. They were fantastic. Inside that 20 last year, it was a horror story. And does that happen again? I don't know. I don't know if I can. I know one thing. I can't trust those guys right now. I can't trust Matty Ice inside that 20, not throwing that interception and that. So what I am a little interested in to see is Todd Gurley's going to be playing in Atlanta this year. So I'm kind of interested to see how he makes out. But as I said, I do like Seattle. Tread lightly here because of everybody else like in Seattle. But you know what? Sometimes you see 75, 80% of the people are right sometimes. So you never know.
Sportsbook doesn't always win, right, Don?
That's right.
Stuff, guys. Check them out, sportsmemo.com, on Twitter at Don_Buster. Also, Mid-Major Matt, sportsmemo.com, and on Twitter at Mid-Major Matt. Guys, also remember, $9 Mondays at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com. All plays discounted to $9. Not just the plays on Monday either. You can go forward to Thursday, Saturday, Sunday's games. All of them discounted to $9. Sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com.